The last time we heard from world-renowned religious scholar Lily J, she was busy trying to convince her followers that Muhammad is the Holy Spirit. But she accidentally ended up proving that Jesus is the God of Muhammad. Fun times. But Lily wasn't finished. Now she wants her fans to believe that Muhammad is God, and her fans are too clueless to realize that by agreeing with her, they're all committing the unforgivable sin of shirk. Let's watch Lily insist, not once, but twice, that Muhammad is God. She's asking ChatGPT about Bible verses that Muslims claim are prophecies about Muhammad. Here's what she comes up with.
All right, ChatGPT, what's next?
Deuteronomy 33:2. The Lord came from Sinai and dawned over them from Seir. He shone forth from Mount Paran.
Deuteronomy 33, verse 2. Let's go ahead and read the verse before we get Lily J's powerful commentary. We'll start at verse 1. This is the blessing with which Moses, the man of God, blessed the people of Israel before his death. He said, "The Lord came from Sinai and dawned from Seir upon us. He shone forth from Mount Paran. He came from the 10,000s of holy ones with flaming fire at his right hand." So, this is near the end of the book of Deuteronomy. God used Moses to lead the children of Israel out of Egypt to the promised land. God said that Moses wouldn't be allowed to enter the land. He would die instead. Moses, the man of God, blessed the people of Israel before his death. He said, "The Lord came from Sinai." Who came from Sinai? The Lord. When you see Lord in all caps in the Bible, it's referring to Yahweh or Jehovah, the name of God. Some Bible translations keep the name, usually as Jehovah. For instance, the American Standard Version reads, "And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, Jehovah came from Sinai and rose from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came from the 10,000s of holy ones. At his right hand was a fiery law for them." But most translations use Lord in all caps when the name of God is used in the Hebrew. So, who is the Lord in Deuteronomy 33:2, who came from Sinai, dawned from Seir, and shone forth from Mount Paran? This is God. Indisputable, right? It's obvious. Zero confusion. Now back to ChatGPT.
Deuteronomy 33:2. The Lord came from Sinai and dawned over them from Seir. He shone forth from Mount Paran.
Who's the verse about? God. But according to Lily J, it's about 3 human prophets. Who's first?
The Lord came from Sinai. Okay, so we know that Prophet Moses got the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai.
Yes, Moses got the 10 Commandments from God at Mount Sinai. But that's not what Deuteronomy 33:2 is about. Deuteronomy 33:2 is about God leading the children of Israel from Egypt to the promised land. It's about the Lord.
Dawned over Seir. Where's Seir? I just read into it. Where is Seir? Seir is the south of Jerusalem, and Jesus was in Jerusalem.
Busted! Where is Seir? Lily J says she looked it up and learned that Seir is South Jerusalem. She says she looked into it. Where? Where did she look? Notice, for everything else she says, she gets ChatGPT to say it. And you can actually tell ChatGPT to give Islamic answers, which is what she normally does. And then she pretends that ChatGPT agrees with the Dawa script. But here, she doesn't ask ChatGPT. She just says,
Where's Seir? I just read into it. Where is Seir? Seir is the south of Jerusalem, and Jesus was in Jerusalem.
Why not have ChatGPT answer? Because even after telling ChatGPT to give Islamic answers, she couldn't get it to say that Seir is South Jerusalem. ChatGPT wouldn't sink that low. Seir is not South Jerusalem. You could say that Seir is south of Jerusalem, as in way, way south of Jerusalem. Seir is in the area of the Edomites. There are two ways you could find this out. One, you could look at a Bible map. Here's Seir, way, way south of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is north of this entire map. Two, you could look up Seir in the Bible. Tons of references. You can go all the way back to Genesis and read in Genesis 32:3, and Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. There are 9 references to Seir in the book of Genesis. We know where it is, and it's a long way from Jerusalem. Speaking of Genesis, in 2 previous videos, I mentioned Artza boxes. These are boxes that ship straight from Israel. When AP and I were in Israel last year, we noticed that the shops in Jerusalem were empty, and AP, as selfish as he normally is, asked if there's any way to help. Several months went by and someone contacted us and said that Artza boxes are a way to help the local small businesses in Jerusalem and Nazareth and Bethlehem. People sign up for quarterly boxes. Artza gathers items from local shops and charities, spices, snacks, crafts, decorations, soaps, all kinds of things, and ships them out quarterly. So you get a new box every 3 months. Anyway, in 2 videos, I mentioned Artza boxes as a great way to get cool items from Israel while helping the people who produce them. The awesome people at Artza were happy that we were promoting their products, so they agreed to sponsor some videos, and I'm going to keep promoting the boxes. I mention them here because the current box is the Genesis box. It's a Genesis theme. Of course, if you're watching this video a few months from now, it'll be a different box. But now is a good time to sign up. They're not expensive. They're fun to open with your family. They make perfect gifts. If you'd like to start getting your Artza boxes, the link is in the description. Be sure to use the promo code DIZZLE to get a discount. Now, back to Seir. Lots of references to Seir in Genesis. You can even look up Seir in the book of Deuteronomy, the same book Lily J is quoting. Plenty of verses, such as Deuteronomy 2:8. So we went on away from our brothers, the people of Esau, who live in Seir. The Edomites, the people of Esau, live in Jerusalem, Lily J? Here's a particularly good reference to Seir. Judges 5:4-5. Lord, when you went out from Seir, when you marched from the region of Edom, the earth trembled, and the heavens dropped. Yes, the clouds dropped water. The mountains quaked before the Lord, even Sinai before the Lord, the God of Israel. Who went out from Seir? The Lord, all caps. The mountains quaked before the Lord, even Sinai before the Lord, the God of Israel. Why does this passage say that the Lord went out from Seir? Hold that thought. So, we know where Seir is, but where is it according to Lily J's deep dive?
Where's Seir? I just read into it. Where is Seir? Seir is the south of Jerusalem, and Jesus was in Jerusalem.
Why does she lie and say that Seir has something to do with Jerusalem? So she can pretend that the reference to Seir is about God sending Jesus. Why would she be so desperate to claim that Seir is about God sending Jesus? Because she needs Sinai and Seir to be about prophets, so she can claim that Paran is about Muhammad.
And then Mount Paran. Where's Mount Paran?
Mount Paran is traditionally identified with the region of the Arabian Peninsula, specifically around Mecca. It's believed to be the area where Ishmael, the son of Abraham, settled. This connection leads to the interpretation that the verse may refer to the emergence of Islam from that region.
Wow.
Wow. This is what I meant when I said that you can tell ChatGPT to give you Islamic answers. We performed a little experiment live and asked ChatGPT where Mount Paran is in the Bible.
Let's see here. Okay. Where is Mount Paran in the Bible? presence. Okay, so yeah, Lord God is Habakkuk. There's the other one they use, Habakkuk
It's
3:3.
giving you passages. It's not.
Wait,
The wilderness of Paran, Sinai Peninsula.
Everyone catch that? She has Chat GPT set to give the answer. It's Mecca. It's Mecca. What does
There
Chat
is-
GPT if you don't
there's no
program
way.
it to say it?
no way. There's
Zero
no
way.
way that ChatGPT, unless you manipulate it, will tell you that Paran is commonly identified as Mecca.
Paran is in the Sinai Peninsula. It's a long, long way from Mecca. In fact, remember this map where we found Seir? Look at what's really close by. It's Mecca. I mean, Paran. You can find these places on just about any map of the Exodus because these were the places the children of Israel went to or passed by during the Exodus. Sinai, Paran, Seir. Lily J wants you to believe that Seir is in Jerusalem and that Paran is somewhere around Mecca so she can twist this into a prophecy about Muhammad. But Deuteronomy 33:2 is about God, not about Muhammad. Why does the Bible say that God was in these places? Well, during the Exodus, God appeared to the children of Israel as a pillar of cloud by day and as a pillar of fire by night. As we read in Exodus 13, "And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them along the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, that they might travel by day and by night. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night did not depart from before the people." When God would lead them from one place to another, the pillar of cloud or fire would move. As an example, here's Numbers 10:11-12. "In the second year, in the second month, on the 20th day of the month, the cloud lifted from over the tabernacle of the testimony, and the people of Israel set out by stages from the wilderness of Sinai. And the cloud settled down in the wilderness of Paran." Oh, look, Sinai and Paran. It's as if this has absolutely nothing to do with Mecca or Muhammad. Now that we know the locations, and now that we know about God appearing to people, let's revisit Deuteronomy 33:2. "The Lord came from Sinai and dawned from Seir upon us. He shone forth from Mount Paran. He came from the 10,000s of holy ones with flaming fire at his right hand." Is this about three prophets, Moses coming from Sinai, Jesus dawning from Seir, and Muhammad shining forth from Mount Paran? No, this is about the Lord. The only thing that could seriously be defended here is that this is about Jesus, since many Christians believe that appearances of God in the Old Testament were appearances of the pre-incarnate Christ. But that's not what Lily J is claiming.
I really like the wording of this verse. So it says the Lord came from Sinai. So Moses brought the 10 Commandments. That was like this beginning of this law.
Yes, Lily J, Moses received the 10 Commandments. But that's not what Deuteronomy 33:2 is about. It's about the Lord, just like it says.
Dawned over from Seir. Dawned. So what's dawn? Dawn is when the sunrise, the sun comes. And that makes a lot of sense with Jesus' coming. He restored faith. He restored peace. He was the light of belief. It makes a lot of sense.
Lovely thought, but Seir isn't part of Jerusalem. Seir is the region of the Edomites. How are you going to connect this to Jesus without lying?
And shone forth from Mount Paran. Shone forth. Jesus brought the dawn, brought the light, and then Prophet Muhammad shone forth.
Mount Paran is part of the Sinai Peninsula, not Mecca. This has nothing to do with Muhammad. Lily J, you just took a verse praising God for guiding the children of Israel out of Egypt, and you twisted and tortured it to try and make it about Muhammad. Completely insane.
What I really like about this is that it brings all the religions together. It's saying, hey, you guys aren't separate. You're all under the same God. You're all worshiping the same creator. This verse really hit me.
Lovely sentiment once again. Nothing to do with the verse.
God is literally saying, guys, you're all brothers and sisters in faith. Why can't you get along? It's just a continuation. Like, I actually can't believe this is in the Bible and no one's saying anything. Like, how can people not read this and just be overwhelmed?
Well, unlike you, Lily J, most people who read Deuteronomy 33:2 would read it after reading Deuteronomy chapters 1 through 32. And so they would understand what it's about. And there's no way anyone would ever start reading at the beginning of Deuteronomy, get all the way to chapter 33, and conclude that Deuteronomy 33:2 is about Muhammad. Claiming that Deuteronomy 33:2 is about Muhammad is Dawa level insanity. And Dawa clowns would never in a million years actually read the book they're quoting, because as we've seen, reading the book destroys the deception. And Dawa is always deception. Speaking of deception, Lily J isn't done yet.
Okay, hang on a minute. I just searched in the Bible. I find all the verses that mention Mount Paran, okay?
Really? You found all the verses in the Bible that mention Mount Paran?
Okay, hang on a minute. I just searched in the Bible. I find all the verses that mention Mount Paran, okay?
Shouldn't have been terribly time-consuming, since there are only 2 verses in the Bible that mention Mount Paran. Deuteronomy 33:2, which we just went through, and Habakkuk 3:3, which we're about to go through. There are lots of verses that mention Paran and the wilderness of Paran, but there's also a particular mountain or mountain range in the region of Paran that's called Mount Paran. Lily J has already duped ChatGPT into giving the Dawa deception about Mount Paran having something to do with Mecca, but watch what she does now.
I just found another one. This is just, whoa, listen to this. So it says, the Holy One from Mount Paran. His glory covered the heavens and his praise filled the earth. So this is a prophecy of a Holy One coming from Mount Paran. It is quite literally a prophecy of Prophet Muhammad. Who else could this possibly be about?
Who else could this possibly be about? Well, let's see what Lily J deliberately cut out of the verse she quoted. Look at Lily J's version of the verse. The Holy One from Mount Paran. His glory covered the heavens, and his praise filled the earth. It's pretty strange that our Muslim friends insist that they don't deify or worship Muhammad when they claim that verses like this are about Muhammad. Muhammad's glory covered the heavens. But Lily J left out the beginning of the verse. Here's how she reads the Bible. The Holy One from Mount Paran, his splendor covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. What happens if we don't deceptively edit the verse? God came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah. His splendor covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. His brightness was like the light. Rays flashed from his hand, and there he veiled his power. Who is this about? God. Who is the Holy One? This is still talking about God. His splendor, his praise, his brightness, his hand, his power. Time for a crash course on the book of Habakkuk. It's only 3 short chapters. You can read it in 5 minutes. Unless you're a Lily J fan, in which case it might take you 5 weeks. The book is about the prophet Habakkuk questioning God's justice. Why does God allow evil people to go on doing evil things instead of punishing them? God answers Habakkuk and says, no one's getting away with anything. God will punish evil people, but God has his own timeline. We get to chapter 3, and Habakkuk prays. A prayer of Habakkuk the prophet, according to Shigionoth. That's some sort of musical term. O Lord, I have heard the report of you and your work. O Lord, do I fear. In the midst of the years, revive it. In the midst of the years, make it known. In wrath, remember mercy. So Habakkuk says he's heard things about God and God's work, and he asks God to revive it and to make it known. Then Habakkuk recaps some amazing things God has done. He's reminding people and himself that God knows what he's doing. God came from Teman. Is that about Muhammad? And the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah. Is this about Muhammad? No, Habakkuk is referring to the exact same thing we read in Deuteronomy 33:2. This is about God appearing to the children of Israel and leading them out of Egypt and to the promised land. His splendor, Muhammad's splendor, covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise, Muhammad's praise. His brightness, Muhammad's brightness, was like the light. Rays flashed from his hand, Muhammad's hand. And there he veiled his power. Muhammad veiled his power. Before him, before Muhammad, went pestilence, and plague followed at his heels, Muhammad's heels. He stood and measured the earth. Muhammad measured the earth. He took and shook the nations. Muhammad shook the nations. Then the eternal mountains were scattered. The everlasting hills sank low. His were the everlasting ways. Muhammad's were the everlasting ways. Habakkuk continues reminding himself and his readers about the things God has done, and he concludes with one of the most epic statements of faith in God in the history of forever. He proclaims, "Though the fig tree should not blossom, nor fruit be on the vines, the produce of the olive fail, and the fields yield no food, the flock be cut off from the fold, and there be no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will take joy in the God of my salvation. God, the Lord, is my strength. He makes my feet like the deer's. He makes me tread on my high places." In other words, even when absolutely everything seems to be going horribly wrong, even if every source of food fails, I'm still going to trust God. What's this chapter about according to Lily J?
So this is a prophecy of a Holy One coming from Mount Paran. It is quite literally a prophecy of Prophet Muhammad. Who else could this possibly be about?
And that's the sad part. Lily J and our Muslim friends are so desperate to find some sort of confirmation for Muhammad that they miss everything else. Even when they're reading passages that are praising God, all they care about is twisting it into something about Muhammad. Dawah is blasphemous nonsense. But let me ask my Muslim friends, Muslims, what's the worst possible sin in Islam? Shirk, right? Associating partners with Allah. In our last video about Lily J, we saw her arguing that Muhammad is the Holy Spirit. In this video, she quoted Deuteronomy 33:2, which is about the Lord, all caps, and she claimed it's about Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad. Then she quoted Habakkuk 3:3, claiming that Muhammad is the Holy One whose splendor covered the heavens as he led the children of Israel out of Egypt. Now, Muslims, according to your religion, not according to your feelings, according to your religion, what should bother you more? A, Lily J claiming Muhammad is God, or B, me telling you to stop this nonsense? Which one of those things should bother you more, according to your religion? You should be really, really upset when Lily J calls Muhammad God, but you're not. Not at all. You love her and praise her when she goes to passages about God and repeatedly lies and says they're about Muhammad. You should thank me for exposing her lies and blasphemy, but you don't. You do the exact opposite. You get really, really upset at me for telling you to stop calling Muhammad God, and you praise Lily J for spreading shirk. What is this religion where people say they believe one thing, but always, always, always do the exact opposite? I actually believe that if Lily J made a video quoting Genesis 1:1 about God creating the heavens and the earth, and she said, "It's about Muhammad! Muhammad created the universe!" you would cheer for her. Don't tell me you wouldn't. I just saw her quote 3 different Bible passages all about God and say that they're all about Muhammad. And not one of you offered the slightest objection. Until you give us a really good explanation for your behavior, don't ever expect us to take you seriously.